So today I want to talk about elemental damage in Nioh, the status effects for every single element, and how to apply Discord to your enemies, which is a very, very powerful status effect. And I'm also going to be ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite element, so stay tuned.
Search.
Feeling something like Rick Moranis, blew up the kid, now he doing damage. You ought to know, like my name's Alanis. Say don't me, take a seat, young Christopher Hansen. I'ma sweat all day just to...
So there are 5 main elements in Nioh. They are fire, water, wind, lightning, and earth. And every one of them has their own specific status effect. Now you don't really learn about these through the game, it really doesn't explain itself, but everyone behaves differently and are well used against specific enemies. And I'm going to get into that in just a sec. So the first one, and this is my least favorite, that is fire. Now not only is this pretty difficult to put on your enemy, because it really takes a lot of hits to get fire to stick. It's not very useful. The damage over time is decent, but you know, it's probably my least favorite out of all of them. It really doesn't have anything, you know, great that puts it above any of the other elements, and that's why I chose this one as my least favorite. Now moving on to the next one, I'm going to choose Earth. And Earth has a very good ability on Yokai. It reduces the amount of ki that they can regenerate. So this is very, very good against large Yokai and boss battles that are Yokai, but it's not very good versus humans. It is pretty hard to stick to a human. As you can see, it keeps going off the moment that I hit the enemy. Because at the enemy's health bar, you will see the status effect and if it gains enough to actually create a status effect. And it does not pop up very well on Earth. Now moving on, I'm choosing Lightning as the number 3 spot. Now this one has, it's pretty easy to, you know, put on enemies, both human and Yokai, and its main benefit is that it reduces the movement speed and the attack speed of your enemy. And this is great. The only problem with that is there's plenty of other things that you can use in Nioh to get this same effect. The Sloth Talisman at least slows their movement and attack speed by double what Lightning does. So that's why this one's in the 3rd spot. It's useful, but you have other things you can use in game to get the same exact effect, only better. Now moving on to the next one, I have Wind. And Wind it's very good. It's pretty hard to get it as a status effect against Yokai, mainly because I believe that it is about the break system and lowering the attack damage. Because what this does is it lowers the attack damage of your enemy, and it also causes you to be able to break through their defenses more often, like this right here. I'm just pummeling him to death. And this is more useful against humans. It's not very useful against Yokai. They don't block very often. Now my absolute favorite is water. Now what water does is it lowers the defenses of your enemy. So you basically get more attack damage when you apply the water status effect. And it is very easily applied to both humans and Yokai. I've had no problems applying this status effect to any enemy in this game unless they have a very strong resistance to water. That's why I'm choosing it as number 1. Now moving on to the last topic, I'm going to talk about Discord. And what Discord is when you apply 2 different status effects from elements onto, you know, one enemy. It can be, you know, I think it has to be Yokai, I'm not too sure. But what happens is you put 2 different elements on an enemy, and you get this new status effect called Discord. And you can tell it because it looks like a yin-yang symbol over them. Once you put this on there, they can't really defend themselves, and they just die quickly. This is an overpowered ability, and sometimes it can be very hard to apply, but when you can do it, I suggest you do it, because it's pretty damn good. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you like it, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new.